Hey there guys, welcome to DG Game Tips, and have I got something a little bit special for you, especially you guys that are still struggling with the Golf Club 2 putting. If you watched my last video, you'll recall we went through an assessment of the different putter uplift times versus the distances. And I did think in this video that we would come up with some sort of technique to have a reliable count in your head or count out loud in order to do those timings. But I thought, you know what? Let's go the whole hog and build a little website function. An automated swingometer, if you will. Seems to be working well. Should we give it a go in the course? Let's do this.
All right.
Hit the ball.
I said a 1 and a 2.
Nice, that'll work for the bird.
So this is it. Head over to dggamingtips.com and it's on the front page. And I've basically just taken a JavaScript countdown timer, if that means anything to you, and added a few fields so we can make certain selections. I've added a couple of bits of audio to signal when to do the uplift and when to hit the ball. And I've added a 3-second lead-in time so you can press the button, get ready on the game, and then it will tell you when to putt. So I'll just take you through some of its basic operation. I've done a drop-down selector for the various different green speeds that you're going to encounter, and for most of the courses I play, I've got 3 different selections so far. I can add more as needed. And you type in the distance of the putt in feet and press start, and it will automatically adjust the time needed. And you'll notice that I've added a 3-second lead-in time, which seems to be enough time for you to get ready on the game putting. Press start. It'll do the 3 seconds lead in.
Uplift. Hit the ball.
Doesn't get much simpler than that, folks. Due to the way JavaScript will load up the files on the first encounter, you're probably best doing a practice run first before you make use of it. So it caches those 2 audio files. And if you change the distance, you can press this load reset button and it'll load up the time and get rid of that hit icon. But if you press start, it'll always take the time that you've got in the distance field. And these audio cues are probably only going to work at this stage in Google Chrome or another browser, but it won't work in Safari and it won't work on mobile phones because they've got a protection now which stop annoying ads auto-playing audio. I could probably change that in time if that's an important feature to you. It needs to be done on a user-initiated action like clicking a button. That's maybe a feature enhancement if you need it. But in the interim, if you want to use a phone, you don't have a laptop next to your console, I've put in this extra little visual button indicator if you really do want to use your phone. So it'll show you when to uplift and when to hit the ball. I did try and code in some sort of like real swingometer with like a decreasing pie chart, but that proved more difficult than I was hoping. But maybe I can enhance it in the future to look a bit prettier, but at the moment it works just fine. So there's the basics. Let's take it onto the course and see how she performs. So I'm going to use the player set of clubs, which is the middle difficulty, just to better reflect those that are looking to sort of up their game and the difficulty factor associated with that. And I'm going to choose a medium difficulty course. One of my favourites is this Northumberland Park, UK, by Mr. CRX8PZ. What a stunning job he's done of this course. Absolutely pretty as a picture, quintessential UK golfing kind of scenery and terrain. And you'll notice from the screen, green speed medium, and there does seem to be a few different types of medium green speed. On the putting practice green that we were doing the assessment in the last video, you would have noticed that the maximum putting distance is 144 feet. But if you select the putter, you can see that the maximum distance that you can put on these greens is 152 feet, and that's why I've given you a different green speed selector on the swingometer. Anyway, let's get going. If you press the triangle button, that gives you a view of how far the current selected club will hit in terms of distance. And in this case, we're getting into a pretty thin piece of fairway, which is going to mean that you're going to have to be pretty accurate on your drive. So in terms of putting, an important lesson is don't try and be a hero. Much better to hit the fairway on a flat bit of fairway if possible, to make the approach shot much more straightforward and reliable. So in this case, where first shot distance is not absolutely key in order to allow you to get onto the green on the second shot, much better off for you medium skill folks to choose a club distance which you think you can consistently hit onto a flat piece of the fairway, and it'll give you a nice clean shot onto the green. So I've gone for the 5 wood, and we've got a bit of wind and a little bit of right behind us.
Nice. Should be in the fairway. You have about 130 yards, I'd say, to get to the pin.
So I would say the absolute key to easy putting is this approach shot to the green. The guys getting amazing scores on Golf Club 2 are those that are able to drop this approach shot within 10 feet of the hole. They don't even need a swingometer. And part of that is understanding where the ball's going to hit the green, how it's going to roll and where it's going to end up. So again, press the triangle button at this point and have a look at the green slope. On this occasion there's nothing of particular concern, so just attack the hole in a regular fashion. But for every fairway shot, be sure to press L2 and understand what kind of slope that you're hitting it off. And also look at the wind to understand what kind of influence that's going to have when the ball is high in the air. So in this case I'm going to aim a little bit left to compensate for that slight left to right slope. And I do have a general tendency to slice my shot, so I should probably compensate for that.
This one's a beauty.
But in this case, I haven't compensated enough. So 15 feet and it's flat, no uphill or downhill. And we've got the medium 152 feet selected. And then in terms of the way it's sloping left to right, clearly it's going to have a little bit of influence here. I would estimate something like that as it travels over those blobby bits. And we just hit start. It's going to give me 3 seconds to get in position.
Uplift. Hit the ball.
Nice little start. Swingometer judged that one perfectly, but maybe a little bit overpowered on that occasion. So another thing I wanted to say about putting technique is this tool is useful to help you judge the distance, but it's by no means some sort of, silver bullet for holing every single putt. Your strategy really should be just to do a maximum of 2 putts. If you get into 3-putt land, then you're going to be getting bogeys left, right and centre. So think about 2 putts, and if you hole it in 1, then that's a bonus. And the swingometer should at least help you to get the ball within 10 feet of the pin and make it easy to hole out from there. So on we go. So a lot of trees around this fairway. Let's see what happens with the driver. Bit of fade left to right to help with the corner. Yeah, that's good. Inaccurate swing, damn it. Oof. Tree got in the way. So we're on a steep bank and that's going to push it quite a bit left to about that extent. And we've got a bit of wind that's going to push it to the right so we can compensate a little bit like that. So 127 yards and this will hit 132 and it's uphill. So with this rough, that's going to slow the ball down quite a bit. So I think you need to go up a club and try and get the cleanest shot possible. Not great. Beautiful. So for 3-foot putt, we don't really need to use a swingometer. You remember from the last video, a 10-foot putt is at the point where the putter lifts up and gets to about the middle of your right foot. So we're just going to do just a very short back forward and that'll be enough. A little bit of left to right slope. Make sure you go to the effort of changing. Don't think, oh, it's only a small putt, I'll just bang it in there. More often than not, you will miss the hole on 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 if you get lazy like that. So back, forward, in she goes. Oof, just on the left.
Way to drop that putt. And that'll keep you at 1 under for the round.
So not too bad so far. Let's keep going.
Okay, let's see what happens on this
Par 5, opportunity for eagles. Up to driver, see where that takes us. Looks like there's a little bit of a sort of left to right slope on that fairway. So that wind pushing it slightly to the left is probably going to help us on this occasion. Keep hitting it right, I'm going to have to sort that out. Oh, bad bounce. Unbelievable.
All right, you might want to tweak your club here. This is deep, deep down in there.
Damn. Okay, let's go to an iron. Okay, played it safe on that occasion.
Okay, back on the fairway. Let's see about hitting this green, huh?
So, fairly flat, great, 97 yards, 90 yards carry with a little bit of wind right to left, a little bit of extra loft, should be good.
Looking good. All right, this next one's for birdie.
Okay, swingometer time again. In some of these shaded greens, if you press the square button, you can put the pin in the hole just to make it a bit easier to see exactly where it is. And like we said in the last video, a number of feet downwards should be subtracted from the putting distance, so treat this as a 19-foot putt. And in terms of left to right slope, the blobbies are going to move it to the left. A little bit of a fast bit at the end there, and the downhill will amplify that effect slightly as well. So I think something like that. Press the swingometer.
Uplift. Hit the ball.
Yes.
Very nice, saved it. Poor fairway work, but the green's where it's saving me. Okay, moving on. Wow, an island fortress. So, 114 yards, 8 feet down, wind in our face, 120 yards. That's probably about right. In this case, it's actually doing us a favour with those combinations. This hole can be pretty difficult if the wind's going the other way. Go slightly left to factor in that slight wind and my tendency to push it right. But little tip for that kind of hooking and drawing, if you're consistently going left or right on your swing, then just line up the controller as you would normally and then just twist it round a little bit, but do the same joystick action. Don't try and compensate for what you've just done there, and you should find that that does just bring the swing around more to the center. See, I'm actually going left there, which is a good thing because at least I'm finding a way to correct these things. Nice.
Nice approach. You're on the green. 10-footer here. This is makeable.
Okay, 10 feet in distance and 2 inches downhill. So again, same logic. Let's take 2 inches off the 10. Let's leave us 8. And downhill, sideways putt. A little bit tricky. Can be tricky. So again, the downhill is going to amplify the sideways movement. Should be something like that. Start ye old swingometer.
Uplift. Hit the ball.
Nicely
Nice,
done. You are right to worship that putt. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm sure you don't want to watch me play a whole round of golf, and the way that's heading, it's on for a pretty reasonable score on a semi-difficult course. Leave a comment on how you find using the tool and whether you want me to make any tweaks or enhancements, and please give me a like if you've got appreciation for me putting in the time to build that tool. And consider subscribing if you want to be made aware of my new videos coming soon. So until next time folks, happy golfing!